All righty. Okay. All right. Here we go, baby. Welcome to the Gridiron. Basically, where we talk about how great the New York Football Giants are and how much the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys blow. Man, I hate those two teams. Can't stand them. Welcome to the Gridiron. As always, if you could please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and possibly share it, that would be freaking awesome. A little ways down, the top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. If you want to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second membership level I got is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third one I got is called the Gridiron. Each one has their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel, it would mean so much to me. I thank you in advance. And then just a little ways down in the description box is a Facebook link, takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 8,800 members in the group. I got a ton of New York Giants information going in there every day. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. And then there's a link underneath it. It's to my Twitter account. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I try to put Giants-related stuff in my Twitter account every day. All right, guys. Well, just seems like it started just about a week or so ago. Hard Knocks, boom, just like that is here and gone. I'll tell you what, the last like 35 minutes. Yeah, that's it. That's all they got. That's all they got of it. I mean, I really don't usually want to watch like the other Hard Knocks, stuff. I am between the Giants stuff and then like Darren. Usually, I mean, also because. Like there's the in-season, and you got the football games going on and stuff like that, just stuff keeping you kind of busy. And also, usually not now. I mean, there's the preseason games that haven't even started. Of course, it's the New York Giants. The first time in Hard Knocks, so of course I want to watch it and check it out and see what it's all about. But I didn't know it was only like 35. I mean, the last one, the one I think before that was just 40 minutes long. I thought they were a little bit longer than that. I mean, I thought that get at least an hour at it, I mean, but anyway, but it was some interesting stuff. I mean, it was a little bit of the build up and all, but then it just kind of like rifled right through like the neighbors, there was the build up on that. But like the last I don't even think I even remember them talking to Muasau. Hey, welcome to the Giants. I didn't nothing. So a little quick, but it was a nice little in-depth, all in all, I thought it was, it depends upon who you are, right? If you want to be negative Nancy, you can find stuff in there and just trash the Giants organization. If you want to be positive Pete, it was pretty interesting, pretty informative. I mean, if you want to trash the Giants, there's stuff like that goes on in every organization. I mean, you could, if you listen to everything the GM and the owners say in the off season, and some of that stuff gets out to the players, some of the players and stuff like that, there'd be negative stuff going to be brought up about every team. So, I mean, like people want to trash the Giants about the way they handled Saquon and, or trash the Giants organization about, maybe going after Drake May and, well, what about Daniel? So, the jack wagons out there, there's nothing, there's nothing positive, that any of them idiots will get out of it. But I thought this wasn't bad. Very informative. And happy to see the Giants on there. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, once again, they're always trying to overpick, players and this, that, and the other thing. So if you get offended by it, oh well. As I said, stuff happens with every team. It's a business. And as the years go by, it's going to get more and more and more and more competitive, more and more of a business. It's a business. They're always looking to improve the team. Ta-da! So, but let's see. Let's see here. Where we got it? Wait. Is this it here? There we go. I mean, I know there's, I don't know, there's like preview or whatever. There's people that see that the Hard Knocks before it actually comes out and all, because it's like, as soon as the episode's over with, you go on like New York Giants news and you type that in. As soon as the episode's over with, boom! There's like 2 or 3 articles that came out, about the Hard Knocks episode 5. Like, wow, they typed that fast? No, I mean, there's people get to see this stuff beforehand. So as soon as the episode's over, they can just hit send, and all of a sudden on their website, this review of episode 5 pops up. But so let's go over it, shall we? Giants on Hard Knocks. This is New York Times. Finale takeaways. Team rebuffs big trade offer before drafting Malik Nabers. We already knew how this story ended. Yes, we did. But only because we know how the 2024 NFL draft ultimately unfolded. However, we still got to have some fun and learn a few new things in the season finale of Hard Knocks. Once again, I thought it was very informative, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. For me, I mean, especially like this last episode, it's 35 minutes. I mean, it's like, yeah, that's it. I mean, I said, I don't know. I thought it'd be at least 45, 50 minutes long, but I thought they could have had a little bit more, a little more stuff than just 35 minutes. Actually, I mean, I watched it 2 times. I mean, I turned it on like 9 o'clock, and I watched it twice, and it was like 10 after 10. Took me 70 minutes, and I watched the episode 2 times. Let's see. The offseason, the New York Giants by taking a behind-the-scenes look at what transpired from inside the team's draft war room during those pivotal days in late April. Let's see. Tuesday night's episode was centered almost entirely around the 3-day NFL draft. Yeah. Therefore, we'll break up our review into 6 sections for each of the Giants' 6 draft picks. Let's dive in. Let's see. I got to talk about, obviously, Malik Nabers. And what they were doing was like, Shane said he had some possibly a couple, maybe trades lined up and all. One of them was possibly maybe going back to the Bears. But he said if Harrison is there or Nabers is there, they said he was turning the card in. But there was a scenario possibly maybe if Nabers and Harrison were gone, meaning because he thought the first 3 were going to be Williams, Daniels, and May. They thought the Cardinals had taken Harrison, which they did. And then the wild card, though, was the Chargers. What was Harbaugh going to do? Because, I mean, they let go. Well, they traded away one guy, I think Keenan Allen, and then another one of their wide receivers, I think, left in free agency. So, I mean, they could have used. Yeah, I mean, they brought some guys in, but if you can get it, you get a bona fide number 1. If you get a Malik Nabers, if you get a Herbert being able to throw to a Nabers, come on, man. Nope, that's not Harbaugh. He didn't want to go. He took Alt, as we know. So, but that was the big, that was the suspenseful moment, of the show. But of course, we know how it turns out. What were the Chargers going to do? Then obviously when Malik, was there at 6, Shane's like, let's not rush this. So he wanted to see if anybody was going to call and make an offer. They couldn't refuse, right? The Colts called, or it wasn't, and then the Jets called in. wasn't anything. I mean, they offered like the first and maybe a first. And this, I don't even know what they offered. I don't even think we even heard what they offered. Yeah, the whole thing. So, I mean, if they blew the Giants out of the water, maybe first, second this year, maybe next year's first or something like that, whatever. Maybe you start thinking. But whatever it wasn't good enough. So, obviously, they took Malik. As we all know. The first call. Huh. Okay. Oh, okay. I didn't hear that. But it said the first call came in from the Colts, Chris Ballard, who offered pick number 15, 46, as well as next year's second rounder for the number 6. So first and 2 seconds. But Shane wasn't interested, saying he didn't want to move all the way back as far as number 15. And I can understand that. Because, now you get into the guys that have first round picks, first round numbers and all that stuff and everything. But you got the whatever, the top 6, 7, 8, 9, so whatever, maybe 10 guys. If you go to, they were talking about maybe Brock Bowers. So maybe the top 10, 11, 12 or so, maybe had like really good, blue chip players. But, you go to 15, you get the guys maybe with the first round grade, but it was just a drop off and he didn't want to go back that far. So basically he offered him a first and 2 seconds to go back 9 spots. Probably maybe a fair trade, but maybe if he sweetened the pot a little bit more, maybe, but he said he wasn't interested. The next call came from Joe Douglas, but we didn't get to hear what he offered. All we heard was Shane saying we were going to make the pick at number 6. Throughout the series, we've been shown just how much the coaching staff liked Nabers. Oh, yeah. So there's not much new here beyond seeing him officially become a Giant. However, after making the pick, Shane spoke about how difficult it is to find a wide receiver at a good price. It's harder to find those guys, the GM said, especially outside the draft. It's going to cost you a lot in free agency, so we're excited to get them. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, it's just the way the NFL is nowadays, these guys, I mean, it's just like a good edge rusher or a good left tackle or something. A lot of these guys just don't hit the open market. And if you're going to get one, you might have to like make a trade to get one of these guys. So, I mean, if you're going to go get one of these upper echelon, like Ayuk, right? He's with San Francisco. If you maybe pick the phone up, call San Francisco, it's going to cost you a draft pick or 2 to get the guy, and then you bring him in, you got to sign him. So, it's like a double dip. You got a couple high draft picks, and it's going to cost you to bring a guy in who's established. Same thing with like an edge rusher, like Brian Burns. Bringing it like a tackle, really good tackle, a really good quarterback. A lot of these, they don't always necessarily hit the open market. So when one does, it's going to cost you. It's very difficult, right? I mean, to find yourself somebody like a Malik Nabers, a Harrison or something like that, obviously, because you have to be drafting really low, like the Giants did. But, to draft one of those guys, one of those studs, right? I mean, of course, your first round pick, but you got him. You got him for 5 years on the cheap. Now, I don't know what the 5th-year option is. The one thing you do know, what his salary is for the first 4 years, because you just take it, whatever, you go to the chart, whatever pick number 6 is in this NFL draft, that's what he gets paid per year. You multiply that by 4, pretty much, that's what his salary is. Fully guaranteed. You don't know what the 5th-year option would be. Now, once again, God willing and all that, Malik stays healthy and everything. And I really, unless he turns into little OBJ like kind of, mindset, where he's just maybe a little too much. You pretty much probably going to have to wind up picking up his fifth-year option. Now, I said at the time, you don't know what that's going to wind up costing you, but it's going to save you a lot of money. But, and once again, God willing, all that stuff, Malik will be here for, once again, hopefully, quite a few years. Let's hope, he doesn't turn into a Victor Cruz or, I can just ramble off a ton of freaking names. Let's hope he turns into an Amani Toomer and not a Steve Smith, Hakeem Nicks, Victor Cruz, or in other words, guys who are fantastic wide receivers who had their career cut short due to injury. Right? And once again, it's a contact game and stuff happens. But let's hope he's here for a long time. Right? But the thing is you got him now. Let's get the most out of him all while he's relatively cheap. The thing is that you look at Wan'Dale, this is his third season. Next year the Giants could probably extend him. If he does well this season, I'm not saying he's going to get $25 million a year, but hey, he's going to want to get paid. I don't blame him. Right. Once again, I don't know what it's going to be, but somewhere along the line, you start getting these good draft picks. These high draft, they're going to want to start getting paid. So, think about Kayvon, right? I said, Wan'Dale Robinson, so some of these guys, it's going to come time to start paying the piper. Let's see. Throughout the series, we've been shown just how much the coaching staff liked Nabers, so there was not much beyond there. It's hard to find those guys, Shane said, especially outside of the draft because it winds up being expensive, very expensive. Series wraps with the Giants working out this spring. Nabers is shown on the field talking to quarterback Daniel Jones before Brian Dable tapped his new receiver's helmet and said, "I'm glad you're here, buddy. You're going to be a damn good player." Then we got, obviously, day 2. We had they took the two secondary guys, Nubin and Phillips. Right? They were very high on Nubin. Excuse me. But they did want cornerbacks. They wanted a cornerback. But, of course, there was the run on cornerbacks just before the Giants, picked. So that kind of knocked them out. There were, of course, there were cornerbacks there. But, the guys that, as far as, I guess, maybe as a second-round grade, they wanted Kool-Aid. They wanted, I think, Lassiter. Right? So as soon as they hit into the 40s, those guys went. Now, if the Giants had their Brian Burns pick, the one that they gave away to the Panthers, they probably might have took Kool-Aid. But I said, once the 40s hit, those guys went. So the Giants wind up taking, obviously, they took the best safety. They got Nubin. Very happy. I'm just kind of hoping the guy's his calf works its way out and we get to see the guy on the field. Let's see. Then, of course, the third-round pick came around. They were very impressed with Phillips, what they saw. Despite missing out on their top 2 cornerback choices, the Giants wanted to go back to the position, but with a little bit of a twist. Before the pick, we saw Shane talk about Phillips with Bowen and defensive passing and coordinator and defensive back coach Jerome Henderson. Where we are now, obviously, you see the big drop off to the corners. But the nickels, Phillips is a 3-down nickel for you guys. Shane asked both. The 2 coaches confirmed that assessment, and the Giants made the pick. We also got a little insight into the draft process with footage of Dable asking Phillips in a meeting what his number one trait as a football player is. He said, it's my toughness, Phillips said. I ain't scared of nobody out there on that field. So that's good. That's really, really good. Then they talk about Theo Johnson, right? Then we go to day 3, and they start off with a bang. And one thing Dable was talking about was, he was talking about 6'6", 260 pounds. I think he said he ran like a 4.57. I think it was 40. That's kind of almost like freaking nature kind of stuff, right? Darren Waller hadn't announced his retirement yet, but the Giants knew that was a possibility. So tight end was a priority in the draft. The Giants had a lot of conversations with the Penn State tight end, and Shane said that there was conviction in the player because all the time they spent together. We saw evidence of that with a clip of offensive passing game coordinator, quarterbacks coach Shea Tierney talking to Johnson at the Senior Bowl, as well as meeting with Dable and footage of scouts at Penn State's Pro Day. One of the best quotes from the episode came when Shane was reading a text from someone not revealed on the show about Johnson to Dable. He said, Theo Johnson equals straight dog. Shane read. Had him at the Senior Bowl. He never turned down a rep at practice. And just the fact that he's got an edge to him. Respectful, but ain't afraid to scrap. And then, of course, they went to Tyrone Tracy. Giants brought in Devin Singletary in free agency as a replacement for Saquon. But that didn't mean that they were done adding at the position. They drafted Tracy, who spent most of his collegiate career as a wide receiver. There was insight from assistant GM Brandon Brown on the selection. Knew there'd be an opportunity for Tyrone Tracy, Brown said. Perceived flaws were Tyrone's an older prospect, not a lot of time at the running back room. But we flipped it and looked at the positive. He's a former receiver that can help in the passing game. He can play all 3 downs. He had a strong all-star game, wired the right way. Coaches raved about it, but also he's got a lot of tread left on the tires. He's not a running back / wide receiver, whatever, that's coming into the NFL. It's had 783 carries in college. That hasn't happened. He's got a lot of tread left on the tire. Unlike Saquon, who had, I think it was like 800 touches, I think, in college. A lot of touches. It's a lot of touches. And then our analytics department, there's one thing too. They gave us a lot of supporting evidence where he has explosive plays per touch. He ranked up there toward the top of all the running backs in the NFL draft. Yards per touch. Let's see. And quick hits. Unfortunately, we didn't get any insight now into the final selection, Darius Muasau. Right? They said, I just didn't quite understand why they couldn't. We only had 6 picks, so I can see. But, it was only 35 minutes long. There was nothing on him. Nothing. Yeah. Coaching and scouting staff gathered for a post-draft party at the local New Jersey restaurant. While the series largely featured Shane's family, Dable's wife, Beth, and Shane's wife, Marie, took center stage here. The two met for the first time in Buffalo and became friends. It's interesting because Shane's wife is a lot like Dable. Flies off the handle, everything, crazy and not a hot temper, but you know what I'm saying, how Dable can be. That's how Shane's wife is. Shane is a lot like Dable's wife. Could have 100 things to do, and okay, all right, that's cool. Kind of like easy, kind of going. Yeah. So it was kind of funny, and the two wives said we hit it off immediately. Right. Let's see. Beth said, I am like Joe, and I'm very chill. So Dable's wife, Beth, said, I'm a lot like Joe Shane. I'm very chill. Nothing bothers me. Could have 100 things to do, and I'm like, oh, that's fine. And Marie, Shane's wife, is a lot like Dable. They're running around hyper. Everything has to be an event. We just hit it off right away. And they've been around, each other for quite a few years. The morning after the draft, Shane met with his scouting staff for review meetings. Shane told college area scout Hannah Burnett, "I thought you did a good job this year. I think you're an excellent teammate, humble. You're open to constructive criticism. I think you continue to get better each year." See, a lot of it also, but he was going over a lot of the good points, but you didn't hear anything, obviously. But I think you need to work on your communication skills, or I think you didn't hear any of that. He told National Scout Jeremy Bright, I'm going to say, "I think you did a great job. I appreciate what you bring to the group and bring to the table. I think having the veteran voice in the group is helpful. I trust your eyes. I trust your evaluation. That helps me." So after, obviously everything was all over. The season was all over, and the draft was over. Because those guys, it's a thankless job, very thankless job. They're the eyes and the ears. Obviously having tape, watching the tape is huge, but you also need to talk to the player, talk to the coaches about the player, talk about the if you're going to find out stuff about a player, you want to talk to his teammates, talk to people he goes to school with. And a lot of it also, too, is not only so much that, it's also, how does, this guy treat the lunch lady? Anything, right? When he comes into the lunchroom and say, hey, have a little of this. Let's hurry up. I'm in a hurry. That's not flying. You better treat everybody with kindness and caring, respect. Right? Can I please have some potatoes? Oh, thank you so much. That's what they want. Right? They don't want somebody that treats people, that looks down at other people and all that. So everything you do is being scrutinized. So they're like the scouts. They're behind the scenes. They're flying here, going there. Just sitting around a lot, writing down stuff. It's a thankless job, very, very thankless job. I don't know what they get paid. Sure, they probably don't get paid enough, but it's a very thankless job. But all in all, as I said, I think it was very, very, very interesting. I think without question, it was very interesting that they brought this up, because right after the season's over with, right? You got the combine, you got the Senior Bowl and all that. The combine, you got the 30 visits coming in, right? Free agency, working up to the draft, and there's a lot of stuff going on, what free agencies you're going to sign, what ones you're going to let go, and all that. There's a lot going on there in those few months, right? So you figure it's basically from whenever the last Giants game was, middle of January 10th, 8th, whatever it was, after they beat the living crap out of the Eagles, whatever that day was, basically to the end of April. So you got what? April, March, you got like 3.5 months there, right? Give or take a day or so, whatever. So in those 3.5 months, there's a lot going on, without question. And I think they did a very good job, 5 episodes, very good job bringing that, into focus. I really, really, really like that. So, I'm sure they'll probably continue this type of series. And, whatever team is up next, I'm sure they're going to do a fantastic job with it too. But, I think it's really a wonderful, wonderful time, of season. There's almost no time of the season, except for like those 6 weeks, from like June to July, where there's like really not much of anything going on. But, training camp, regular season, after the season. But this is the Giants' first time, and I can't say it's going to be their last time, but it's their first time, and it'll probably be quite a few years, probably, before they do it again. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think all in all, they're very, very informative. As I said, I've seen Hard Knocks before, but I've never watched every episode of any particular season. I might have seen an episode here, an episode there, whatever. I don't watch a lot of football. I don't want to watch a lot of TV. I watch football, But that's pretty much about it. My wife. That's my wife. That's what she does. I only do that usually on Sunday afternoon when there's football on. But I think all in all, very, very informative. They did a great job, I think. All right, so now we got. I'll go over the where we got the training camp last. So finally we got we got a Van Roten signing. A Van Roten, right? He came in and he left without a contract and all like that. It's kind of like, oh, okay, I guess they didn't work nothing out. All right, okay, yeah, but finally signed him. So it was a 1 year up to $3 million. Let me see here. Let's see here. We got Giants signed guard Greg Van Roten to a 1 year, $3 million contract. Let's see here. Van Roten's agent has confirmed that the Giants signed the guard to a 1 year contract worth a maximum of $3 million. The deal is $920,000 guaranteed and will hit the max value if he plays at least 50% of the offensive snaps, which is certainly a possibility. That certainly makes it seem as though Van Roten has the opportunity to compete for a starting job. We'll see where Van Roten slots in along the Giants' offensive interior, but at very least, more depth and competition are always good. Absolutely. And as I said, I brought this up before when they brought him in. Whatever it was, a week or two ago. I said, he's been around for a while. First year was 2012. He's 34 years old. Matter of fact, almost by the time the season's over with, he'll be almost 35. In February, he'll turn 35. But, if the season ends in January, if he's still with the Giants, he'll be almost 35 years old. Right? So it's a 1 year deal. It's just, he's just a torch holder. It's not something we got him, and we're going to put him in there, and he's going to be part of the Fab Five for the next 5 years, and we're good to go. And but there's familiarity with the Luminor, Carmen Basilio, right? There's some familiarity there, right? With the Raiders last season. So it's a very, very good pickup, I think, for the Giants. Doesn't cost them a lot of money, and especially if he doesn't play a lot, right? But I said I brought this up when they brought him in before once again, according to PFF. That's all I go by. I don't have time. Plus, that's not me. I got other things I'm doing. Sit down and break down his play and his tape and his film and all this stuff and his technique. I don't do that. But so that's why I have PFF. Right? But according to PFF, his finest season, according to PFF, was last year when he was with the Raiders. So he graded out at a 75.3. Now, I think he gave up. What did he give up? There we go. Yeah. He gave up 21 pressures. He played basically every 17 games, so he gives up like a pressure a game. He gave up 5 sacks last season. The guy's 30-something years old. Last year was 33. He's 34 now. He played 17 games. He gave up 5 sacks. He gives up 1 sack every 3 games. I can live with that. He gave up 21 pressures. It's like a pressure a game. I can live with that. You drop back to pass 30, 40 times in a game. He gives up 1 pressure. I can live with that. Right? I said he gave up, let's see. Pass, block, and snap, block, pass, 626 snaps. Pass blocking snaps, right? He gave up 5 sacks, according to Pro Football Focus, right? So what would that be? 5, that's 100. 1 out of every 125 pass attempts. He gives up a sack. Well, I mean, is that Hall of Fame material? No. Is that all pro material? Probably no. But, for, a guy you're going to pay $3 million for if he winds up playing, if he's a starter, he gives up 5 sacks for you. Can you deal with that? Yeah. I mean, if he gives up 5, the center gives up 5, and the other guard gives up 5, that's 15 from your interior. We gave up 85 sacks last season, the whole line. So, 5 I can deal with. Okay, especially what we're paying him. As I said, we're not paying a guy $15 million a year, right? And it might be his last season. Could be his last season in the NFL. Could be his last season with the one and only season with the Giants. Who knows? Maybe we'll bring him back next season. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But I think it was a very, very good, just depth. And he's got, he's got an opportunity here. But we got a lot of guys. I mean, they were putting Stinney in there. Once again, it's just practice, all that. But hearing some nice things about Stinney. Obviously, we got Illuminor. We'll have to wait and see what's going on with Neal, right? And you got John Michael Schmitz. You got Runyon Jr. Don't forget about Azudu. And, of course, we got The Rock, Mr. Andrew Thomas. So we got a lot of guys that are almost kind of penciled in. So, Van Roten, it's not going to be an easy road, for him to, actually, I didn't say they guaranteed him a spot on the 53. So he's got his work cut out for him. So, let's see. I said what he graded out. Let's see. 75.3 overall. His run blocking was a 68.5. So his run blocking, could use a little bit of work, but it was 77.4 was his pass blocking grade. I'll take that 10 ways to Tuesday. I mean, if you look at the Giants' grades for their guards last season, holy cow, Batman. I said his pass block grade was a 77.4. I mean, phenomenal job. I mean, last year, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times last year in 5 of the games last year, he graded out over an 80 in his pass blocking. So, as I said, he's a year older, might be a year slower or whatever, but he's got the same coach. Now, they may not necessarily put him right next to Illuminor. Illuminor's got the right tackle. It doesn't mean, if he gets a starting job, is he going to be a right guard? No, but he's got the same coach. Right, so maybe the coach can get the same stuff out of him. So, but it's very, very promising. I mean, get a guy who's 33 years old, last year graded out to get his best grade ever. So, very, very promising. Let's see. So they signed offensive Greg Van Roten. He's the newest Giant, but he had many reasons to feel a sense of familiarity when he joined the team today. Carmen Brasilio is his offensive line coach, just as he was last season with the Raiders. Jermaine Illuminor, who's playing right tackle while Evan Neal rehabs an ankle injury, started 14 games next to Van Roten, who was the Raiders' right guard. Devin Singletary, Graham Gano, Chris Manhertz, Jordan Phillips, Boogie Basham are former teammates with whom he is reunited. Because he's played, let's say, now he's been with the Giants. He was with Green Bay, Carolina, the Jets, Buffalo, the Raiders, and now the Giants. So a lot of familiarity. Let's see, 2022, he was with Buffalo, but that was the first season that Shane and Dable left. But, he's got, familiarity. Carolina, that's where he met up with Graham Gano, right? Let's see. He is familiar with the Giants' offensive system, having first played it in Buffalo and is a similar scheme last year in Vegas. And he is a Long Island native who played for the Jets in 2020, 2021. Ta-da! Continuity, they say, is very important as an O-line and with the O-lineman, Van Roten said. Usually, it's not it's not on different teams, but I'm happy to be around Basilio. I had my best season as a professional with him. I'm hoping I can build on that. Van Roten has played professional football since 2012 when he made Green Bay's roster as a rookie free agent from Penn, where he graduated with a degree in economics from the prestigious Wharton School of Business. Ooh. He has played for the Packers, Carolina, Jets, Bills, and Raiders, and had short stints with Seattle and Jacksonville in the NFL, and spent 2 seasons, 2015 and 16, with the Toronto Argonauts of the Canadian Football League. Van Roten's NFL experience includes 110 regular season games, plus 4 postseason games, 71 starts, the first 27 at left guard, and the last 44 at right guard. Let's see. And it says, right guard, is that the best position? He said, that's my most recent position. He said, my couple of years with the Jets, I was right guard. And in Buffalo, I kind of did the interior swing deal. And last year, I was right guard. But when I started the second leg of my career, I guess you could say in Carolina in 2017, I played left guard for 2 years. When I was a rookie, I did the swing thing. And in Canada, I played every position across the line. Where will he play with the Giants has yet to be determined. Interior, so center, either guard, Coach Brian Dable said. He's had experience with Carm last year. Veteran player, can see him play at any 3 spots that we need inside: left guard, right guard, and center. He's wearing a 74 jersey. Van Roten did some conditioning work and observed most of the practice. Glad we added him and throw him in the mix, Dable said. We like what he did last year when he was with Carm. Tough physical, good leadership. So he put him out there and let him get his reps. This is my 13th year in professional football, Van Roten said. I've done it. I'm not too worried about it. I remember how to hit and all that. The way that to ramp up is now, I've missed 2 padded practices. It's really just a matter of learning the plays, getting around the guys, and coming together as a unit. So, talking about, once again, I really think, good signing. Very, very good signing, without question. So to create, unfortunately, the clock has run out. The clock has struck midnight. To create room for Van Roten on the roster, the Giants waived cornerback Aaron Robinson after he failed his physical. Robinson has not played since October 2nd, 2022, when he tore 2 knee ligaments versus Chicago. 3rd-round draft choice in 2021, he played in 11 games with 4 starts. This is going to be his 4th season, and he's only played in 11 games. I mean, just where are we at here? Just one injury after the other. It says here, Robinson began his collegiate career at Alabama. He played in 13 games as a true freshman, as a reserve cornerback and on special teams. For his first season in college, he played in 13 games. 13. It's going to be his 4th season in the NFL, and he's only played in 11 games. As soon as he got drafted, they put him on the PUP list. As soon as he got drafted, he had an operation, a core muscle surgery. As soon as he got drafted. So I didn't even think we were going to had a chance, maybe even hand him a jersey or anything yet. And he just got there getting surgery done. So he was on the physically unable to perform list to start his rookie season. He was activated finally on November 1st, 2021. And in 2021, on defense, he played 268 snaps his rookie season. And, he graded out a 62.2. His tackle was a 78.6. His run defense was a 75.3. His coverage grade was a 58.4, but his coverage grade in the second year got even better. But unfortunately, he only played 72 snaps his second season. I mean, it was just – he played his second season, week 1. He played – remember the Tennessee game? Right? Remember that game? He played all 62 snaps. He graded at a 73.4. His run defense was a 68.8. His tackle was a 78.3. Right, they come from behind victory against Tennessee. 72.4. It was his coverage grade. Then after that week, boom. Was it his appendix? I think it was his appendix. Yeah. He had his appendix removed and would not be able to play in weeks 2 and 3. So he played one game and have his appendix removed. So he missed the next 2 games. Put him in there in week 3. I'm sorry. So he missed games against Carolina and the Cowboys. I'm sorry. Then you put him in there in week 4 against Chicago. He played 10 total snaps. And the snaps he was in there graded out of 67.7 overall. His tackle was a 75.4, 65.5 was his coverage grade, a 63.8 was his run defense. He graded out of 74.3 in the 72 snaps he was in. He played 1 full game in his second season. Had his appendix removed, so he missed weeks 2, week 3. Comes back in week 4, blows out his knee after 10 snaps. He had an MCL and an ACL, and that was almost 2 years ago, and he still can't pass a physical. I said when he was on the field, and also from what I can remember, there's not a lot of remembering him playing. I guess he didn't have a ton of snaps. He did fairly well. It's just once again, you don't always hit on your draft picks. Guys get injured, yada, 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 all this stuff and everything. And stuff happens. I get it. But, it's like, you draft Eli Apple in the first round of the 2016 draft. You take DeAndre Baker in the first round of a draft. You draft Aaron Robinson, a guy who can't even get on the field without blowing knees out. It's just, or you're getting his appendix has got to get removed or core muscle surgery. You're drafting these guys, high up and all that, and for one reason or the other, it's just. But once again, it doesn't just happen to the Giants. It always seems like it does, but it happens to all the teams. But it's just a shame. Just a shame. That it doesn't mean his career's over with. I mean, hey, if he ever passes a physical, maybe the Giants might bring him back. So maybe another team might bring him back. Who knows? But apparently he didn't pass the physical, and he still has a ways to go. But I mean, it's just a shame. I mean, because it was bad knee injury, bad. It's been almost close to 2 years, October, about 21 months, and he still can't pass a physical. So it's a shame. But that finally had to let him go. Time ran out for him. Tick tock, tick tock. Let's see. The ankle injury for Brian Burns suffered yesterday was just minor, and he participated in practice today. So it was just a little false alarm. Now, obviously, something that's going to need to be, obviously, whatever, looked at, iced, whatever, who knows. But, it's nothing as of right now, nothing alarming. So that's good. Thank goodness. But the Giants still had some other guys out. Sexy Dexy illness was on the field in uniform, but didn't participate in team drills. Lawrence Cager with his hamstring, safety Tyler Nubin with his calf, and John Michael Schmitz with his shoulder. They didn't practice either. Now, when Michael Schmitz had his shoulder injured last season, Dable said he said it's the same shoulder, but it's apparently something a little different. Micah McFadden, undisclosed, did not practice and was replaced on the first team by Theo Johnson. Johnson is making the most of his opportunities. Dable said he's done a good job, I'd say, in both phases, defense and special teams. This will be an important training camp for him. It will be an important preseason for him, which is which it is for a lot of young players. Obviously, absolutely. Oh, yeah. All right. So then we got training camp. So tomorrow they're off. This was the second one with pads. A lot of running. A lot of running plays going on. They did a 9-on-7 drill, but it was not a and the Giants apparently maybe had a nice little. The offense had maybe a little bit of a nice upper hand on the offense, maybe like in the 9-and-7s. But once again, Sexy Dexy wasn't out there. Okay. But after the 9-on-7s, they said that the defense was kind of dominant. It was not a banner day for the offense, shall we say. The Giants concluded their 6th training camp practice on Tuesday, and here are some of the takeaways. This is from Big Blue View. False alarm on Brian Burns. Thank goodness. There were concerns on Monday when Burns, the star edge rusher, acquired via trade from the Panthers during the offseason, left practice early with an apparent ankle injury. And as I said, I mean, I understand. It is what it is. I didn't expect anything different. But I did say, I said yesterday, the first question is going to be asked Dable is, how's Brian Burns doing? And that was the first question. I don't know who said it, but that was the first question asked Dabes. It was, how's Brian Burns' ankle or foot or ankle, whatever it was. Then, of course, they talk about Michael Schmitz, Lawrence Cager, Tyler Nubin, Dexter Lawrence, the Greg Van Roten effect. Could the signing of Van Roten lead to another reconfiguration of the Giants' offensive line? The Giants already moved Illuminor from left guard to right tackle, a move that seems more and more permanent with each day Evan Neal remains on the physically unable to perform list. Van Roten played 1,024 snaps at right guard for the Raiders a year ago, playing next to Illuminor on the right side of the Vegas line. That naturally led to Dable being asked if the Giants would consider moving John Runyon Jr. from right guard to left guard. The answer, maybe. Because if they take Runyon, move him next to Andrew, right? You have Andrew Thomas, Runyon, you have John Michael Schmitz, hopefully get his shoulder. But then you'll have the Raider combo from last year, right? You have Van Roten and Illuminor. Van Roten the guard, Illuminor would be the tackle. And they performed reasonably well last year. Well, we've had conversations about it if this was going to happen, Dable said. When everybody gets back healthy, we'll see how it shakes out. I wouldn't rule out left side, right side. We'll just see how it goes. Read into this whatever you will. But during Tuesday's last 11-on-11 first team period, Runyon moved to left guard and Aaron Stinney flipped over to the right. Van Roten, number 74, is a picture of him. New York Giants offensive lineman Greg Van Roten watching Tuesday's practice. Solid looking dude. Solid looking. He looks like tall. Yeah. I mean, he looks like a wall. You know what I mean? He just, yeah. Dable indicated the Giants would like to settle their starting combination as soon as they can. Absolutely. Usually we mix and match people. Obviously, you want to try to get our guys out there as soon as you can, Dable said. With the injuries we had last season, we had to move people, shuffle people around. You do it now so that at least they've had some reps at it. You don't do it at all, and that you just throw them in on game 2, and they haven't had one snap of moving to a spot. So that's why they do a lot of it now. You know what I mean? Guys get reps. You know, some guys get reps next to Andrew Thomas. Doesn't mean they're going to be the first string left guard. But you have something happen. As they say, you're only one play away. If you're the backup, you're only one play away from being the starting left guard. You're only one play away from being the starting center. You know, If a Zudu, he might be the swing tackle. You're only one play away from being either the starting left guard or the starting the starting left tackle or the starting right tackle. So, a rough day for the offense. Tuesday was not a good day for the Giants offense. On the flip side, that meant it was a good day for the Giants defense. Ta-da, right? So every good, there's a bad. Every bad, there's a good. Unofficially, I quarterback Daniel Jones with just 5 of 13 on the 11-11 mark. A couple of highlights or lowlights. Nick McLeod batted away a deep ball intended for a seemingly open Jalen Hyatt. The ball was delivered late because Jones had to step away from the rush of Kayvon Thibodeau. McLeod also knocked down a short throw and seemed upset with himself for not intercepting it. Jones was sacked at least once each by Thibodeau and Burns. Jones did make a nice throw downfield to Wan'Dale Robinson, stepping up to avoid pressure and delivering the ball. Tate Banks got the better of Malik Nabers on an out route, knocking the ball away. Andru Phillips knocked away a short pass intended for Wan'Dale Robinson. Giants also had at least one botched handoff between Jones and Devry Singletary. Not good. And had a reverse blown up in the backfield. Not good. Alignment notes. There we go. I try not to read too much into how players are being aligned this early in training camp, but there are a few things that were noteworthy on Tuesday. I mentioned Runyon above. It won't surprise me if Runyon got moved to left guard because it becomes a real thing, perhaps as soon as Thursday, which is their next practice. Cornerback is getting interesting. Nick McLeod, who had been working in the slot, was on the outside quite a bit on Tuesday in practice of Cordell Flott. Isaiah Simmons and rookie Andru Phillips worked in the slot. Austin Schlottman was the first-team center with Schmitz sidelined again. Rookie running backs Tyrone Tracy Jr. and Dante Turbo Miller each got some first-team reps. And it kind of like a little hurt, whatever. From there was Big Blue Kickoff Live. They were kind of like talking, that Gray has got to start making some strides. He better make the most of his opportunities. I mean, everybody's going to training camp. Everybody's going to preseason. Everybody's going to play in the preseason games. Maybe not so much Motor Singletary, but Tracy, Gray, Corbin, Turbo, right? Those guys are going to get their chances. So when Gray, when he gets a chance, you better make the most of it because, I don't know if they're going to be keeping 4 guys on the 53, keeping probably 3 guys on the 53, and then maybe 1 guy in the practice squad. So Gray's got, he's got his work cut out for him because Tracy's, a lot of good stuff about Tracy. Good, so he can be a decent running back, but he also has the wide receiver, right? And then Turbo has done some very good things. I said, if you get the guy in space, get him on like a wheel route or something like that, get a linebacker on him, forget about it. It's a mismatch. Guy runs under a 4.3. Ain't nobody keeping up with that. Ain't no linebacker keeping up with that guy. I mean, the Giants got some speed. Yeah, you got Turbo under a 4.3. Nabers ran a 4.35, whatever it was. Slayton runs under a 4.4. Hyatt runs under a 4.4. You got some fast guys out there. And I said the one thing is Tracy would be good in the receiving game. Turbo would be good in maybe in the run and the return game. So, nope. I got 3,000 tabs open up here. Is this it? Oh, here we go. I do apologize. The Giants once again did offensive line versus defensive line one-on-one drills on a far field away from media, so nothing to report from those. If you listen to Big Blue Kickoff Live, they went over that. They went over a lot of the reps that the guys had. There was some good. There was some bad. There was some good on the offensive line. Andrew Thomas looked like a stone wall. He had a few reps. Nacho had a good rep. Some of the defensive guys did well. Some of the offensive guys did well. So if you go to Big Blue Kickoff Live and listen to them in the beginning, the first 5 or 10 minutes, they talk about a lot of stuff that happened at training camp on Tuesday, and a lot of what they go over, John Schmelk and Paul Dottino, they go over a lot of the one-on-one reps, the offensive line and defensive line. They'll go so-and-so, Stinney lost a rep to Phillips, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Nacho beat Morrissey, but they got a lot of that. Second-year safety Javarius Owens, he's starting to come on a little bit. He's had a couple of days. He's had an interception. Gio had an interception of Drew Lock on a ball intended for wide receiver Dennis Houston. Giants with pads on for the second straight day, did 9-on-7 run drill, a lot of running early on. During a punt drill, Giants returners aligned with their backs to punter Jamie Gillan. Once the ball was in the air, they had to turn, locate it, then move to it and catch it. All right, that's cool. They talk about Hard Knocks remaining open practices. So Thursday, the 1st, Friday, the 2nd. Then they have off on a Saturday because then they got Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and then they got 3. So once again, the second Saturday in a row, they'll be off. So they got 2 practices, Thursday and Friday, because they're off Wednesday. And then they got off on Saturday, right? Thursday, Friday, off on Saturday. Then they got Sunday, the 4th. Then they got Monday and Tuesday, the 5th and 6th. So next Monday and Tuesday, they got the joint practices against the Lions. The Lions coming to town. So, all right, and then the Giants, and then also, with the training camp as well. That's when the preseason games start kicking in too. So got a lot of stuff going on. So tomorrow they're off, Saturday they're off, but then they got, like I said, they got Thursday and Friday. Then they're off Saturday, and then Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And once again, I said Monday and Tuesday is the joint practices with the Detroit Lions. Maybe not show a lot, but it would be very, very good. Very, very good for players. You got a good quality opponent coming in, right? And it's going to do nothing but help make the Giants better. All right, guys, it's been 1 hour and 2 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me, it really does. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.